Hi, I'm Dr. Broussard with the Waggin Trained Veterinary Clinic, and in today's segment we're going to discuss kitten vaccinations. My assistant Cole and I have come up with a list of questions, and we're going to run through those and hopefully give you a better understanding of vaccinations in kittens. Cole?
Dr. Broussard, what are the core vaccine requirements for kittens?
Core vaccines are kind of the essential, don't pass on these kind of vaccines that I consider, and they include things such as rhinotracheitis, which is a herpes virus. There's calicivirus, feline leukemia is actually now considered a core vaccine, and rabies. So those are kind of the big ones that, regardless of your cat's lifestyle, where they live, indoors, outdoors, things like that, those are the essentials that I would do.
What are non-core vaccines for kittens, and why does my kitten need them?
Well, non-core vaccines are the opposite of what I just described. No, they are things that may not be necessary in every cat, and your cat may not need them if that's the case. So first off, if you have an indoor cat, is he going to need things like FIV, like feline immunodeficiency? Probably not. He has to get that through the bite wound of an infected cat. How's that going to happen if he lives indoors 24/7? So that's a non-core vaccine. Might it fit the lifestyle of a born cat living out in the country who's with 20 other born cats and likely to be getting into fights? Absolutely, it would be recommended there. So it depends on the cat's lifestyle. Other non-core vaccines are things like feline bordetella, chlamydia is another one that's a non-core vaccine. Those are about the only three I can think of right now, but those are non-cores. Yeah.
How soon should my kitten be vaccinated?
How soon? Typically at their first visit, depending on when that visit is. First visit for me, typically 6 to 8 weeks is what I recommend, right after the time of acquisition of the kitten. And then those vaccines are boosted approximately every 3 to 4 weeks after that, until about 4 months of age.
What does my kitten need vaccines for if they're only going to stay indoors?
Good question. Well, some are public health concerns. Rabies. I know that your cat is only going to get rabies by being exposed to a rabid animal. Probably not going to happen indoors. But what happens if your window pops open, or your window is open and the screen pops out and your cat wants to take off? You can't afford to risk those type of things. A disease like rabies, for example, is a human threat. If by some chance your cat gets out, gets bit by a rabid animal, comes back home and is acting fine, and then on about day 9 or 10 is not acting quite so fine. You see where I'm going with that? There's no point in allowing that to even be a possibility. So for certain public health concerns, there's that. And again, even other viruses that I didn't mention in that scenario, but would be the same exact thing. Say your cat's indoors and, I don't want to do feline leukemia. What happens if he gets out? What happens if another cat, the window's open, it's a pretty fall day, and there's another cat that comes nose to nose with him at the screen? They didn't even come into direct contact, but can it be transmitted that way? You bet it can. So that's the reason why it's still important.
Are there any risks or side effects associated with kitten vaccines?
There's always a risk with vaccinations, let's be honest. I mean, you're putting a foreign substance into the body of an animal, whether it's human, dog, cat, any of those things. Yes, there can be allergic reactions to those ingredients. So yes, there always is that possibility. The way I look at things like this is, does the potential benefit outweigh the potential risk? And I'm a big vaccine guy. I think I don't even have to blink or think about it. I think that the benefit of those vaccines far outweigh the risk of a potential reaction or side effect from those vaccines.
What if my kitten misses a vaccination?
Kind of depends on the age of the kitten, number one, and I guess how long of a gap there is. So first off, what do I mean by the age of the kitten? I like all animals, dog or cat again, to have at least 2 sets of vaccines after they are 10 weeks of age, okay? I also said earlier that I like to vaccinate every 3 to 4 weeks. So what happens if one time you're late? You can't come in for 6 weeks. Not a problem. Get them in when you can. It just can't be any closer together than 3 weeks. Otherwise, you won't get the right immunologic response.
Can my kitten go outside if not all vaccinations have been given yet?
Depends on where the cat lives and what vaccines they've had prior to that and the age they are. So let's say your cat got vaccinated at 10 weeks and again at 14 weeks, and maybe your veterinarian was like, I want to do one more at 18 weeks. You're close. I mean, can that cat go outside? I'll answer it this way. I usually err on the side of caution. I would rather that your cat not be exposed until I can be more certain, as much as you can be certain, that they are protected. If in my scenario at 10 and 14 weeks, if that cat got outside, would I expect them to contract something that they were vaccinated for? No, I would not expect, but vaccines are not 100% foolproof. So when in doubt, keep them indoors, get them fully vaccinated until the entire set, if you will, is done, and then they should be fine.
Why is it important to get my kitten vaccinated by a veterinarian?
Well, honestly, the biggest and most truthful answer is people that don't handle vaccines for a living don't always know how you're supposed to handle a vaccine. Biggest thing, feed stores. That's what we run into here, feed stores. They deal with feed, with all due respect. They do a very important role, but their job is not to vaccinate animals. So when they get a shipment in, they don't know to look to see if that thing was stored below X degrees. It has to be refrigerated. It has to be stored under refrigeration without fail. Sometimes those things are not there when it's not from a veterinarian. On the veterinary side, we are ordering from veterinary-specific vendors that ship and package them properly. They arrive to us refrigerated and at the proper temperature. We immediately know how to handle those things. And if ever there's a situation where that shipping process was not satisfactory, we send it back and we get the right shipment to us. So there's no way to get around that, I would never imply that the vaccines from the feed store are ineffective. I'm not saying that. It's just I personally want the reassurance and peace of mind to know that they were handled by animal health care professionals. And that's my answer there. So I hope this helps you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or concerns, reach out to us, Facebook, our website, or just call us directly here at the office. I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.